Let me assure the country and warn the banks there will be no return to business as usual for them. So in the next few weeks, we will introduce legislation to end the reckless culture that puts short-term profits over long-term success.
Welcome back. The UK Chancellor of the Exchequer there, Alistair Darling, addressing the Labour Party conference in the seaside resort of Brighton. Well, it was a stark warning to banks. Never again will their greed and recklessness be allowed to endanger the global economy. But for the rest of the UK, the Chancellor insists there is light at the end of the recession tunnel.
I stick with my budget prediction that as long as we continue to support the economy, recovery will be underway in the UK by the turn of the year.
Well, as Labour faces a fight for its political life with disastrous polls and questions hanging over the leadership of Gordon Brown, he had this message.
When the history of this period is written, this country and this party will be proud. Proud that the people who led the way in stopping the recession, turning into global depression, were our government and our Prime Minister, Gordon Brown.
Alistair Darling there. Well, now to discuss what Alistair Darling had to say, as well as Business Secretary Peter Mandelson's speech, I'm now joined from the heart of British politics by the Chief Executive of pollsters ComRes. Andrew Hawkins is in Westminster for us now. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us. First of all, was Alistair Darling right in attacking the bankers so much? Will it win votes at the next election?
Well, I think his audience today were twofold. First of all, the conferences are an opportunity for the party leadership to rally the workers, the people who volunteer their time to go canvassing and campaigning at the next election, which we must have before June next year. And as you alluded to there, the polls for Labour are absolutely disastrous. So it's an easy hit for the Chancellor to say we're going to bash these evil bankers in an effort to rally the troops. The other audience that he's speaking to today are the working class voters who have deserted the Labour Party in their droves. At the moment, they're either saying that they're going to vote for the third party, the Liberal Democrats, or for some other party, and the other parties inevitably have no hope of succeeding given our electoral system, but it causes them a short-term problem. So was anything new discussed today? Was anything new announced today? I don't think so. Will it do any good in the long term for them electorally? Probably not.
Now, Andrew, we're facing a general election in the next 8 months or so. In terms of what Labour can do, can it still win the election?
Oh, gosh, I think it's, given the present leadership, I think it's pretty impossible. When you look back at the long-term record of Labour, going back to 1997, all long-term governments have a degenerative effect over time. And if Tony Blair wasn't able to turn that around in Labour's case, then I don't really see what Gordon Brown can do, what qualities he has to be able to turn that around. They are neck and neck with the third party, which as a pollster, ComRes has never had them before, but our poll today puts them at 23% along with the Liberal Democrats. The Conservatives are 14 points ahead of them. And, you know, it's said that there are only 3 campaign slogans in politics. Don't let the other lot mess it up. Let us finish what we started. And the most potent one of all at the moment is it's time for a change, and that's what the British people feel.
Andrew, if Labour were to change leader at the moment, would it make a difference?
I believe it would. When you go back to 2007, when Tony Blair gave way to Gordon Brown hadn't been polling terribly well up until that point, but even he had a short honeymoon, 2 to 3 months, when Labour soared in the polls until Gordon Brown led the media to believe that he was going to call a general election in the autumn of 2007, and then he apparently changed his mind, and it's been downhill ever since for him. So almost, I think we've got to the stage where almost anybody, any of his front bench colleagues, could take on the role and would do better than he is.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you so much for all of